Alright, so magandang umaga sa ating mga viewers right out there. So welcome back sa ating Bura-Bura live stream session. Your host, AJ Kazenda, and time check it's already 9:28 in the morning. So we would like to discuss this in 1 minute. Hindi, joke lang. So pag-uusapan natin ngayon mga ka-eduk is drama. And as usual, so madami tayong pag-uusapan dito because this will, considerably speaking, no? Composed of several sub-features like theater, film, and literature. So yan po yung laman po ng drama. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call and introduce to you our set of discussant. All the way from Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English, freshman. Yeah, so nandito sila. The Shade Ladies. The Shade is in black. Di ba? Nakakaloka itong mga ka-eduk, itong mga kasabay ko ngayon. Hindi ko alam kung ano trip na itong mga to eh. Bakit galing ba kayo sa lamay o ano? Hindi, nagkataon lang talaga ito ang kanilang costume, right? Ngayong umaga. For us to become more emphatic pagdating po sa ating discussion ngayong umaga regarding po sa drama along Jack 16 Arts Appreciation. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll call on our first discussant here. So introduce natin sila. Hello, Ma'am Desiree Reyes. Ma'am, bati po sila.
Hello guys!
Ma'am, tagasan sila?
From Irusin, Sorsogon po.
Oh, shoutout po sa mga taga-barangay. Anong barangay, ma'am? Anong barangay sa Erosin?
San Pedro po.
Okay, shoutout sa mga taga-barangay San Pedro, Erosin, Sorsogon. Okay, maraming salamat, ma'am. And we have Ma'am Valerie May Sigobiense. Ma'am, pati po sila.
Hello, good day everyone. Shout out to my family and friends.
Alright, thank you very much, ma'am. Tagasan si ma'am?
I'm from Bonbon, Libon, Albay, sir.
Okay, shoutout sa mga taga-Bunbon, Libon, Albay. Alright. Hello, Ma'am Wency Lore Estrado.
Hello, good morning po sa lahat.
Tagaligaw ka, ma'am?
Yes po.
Ay, inunahan ko na. Okay, shoutout sa mga Tagaligaw City. Oy, ngayon yung opening ng ano yan, ng Capitol, di ba? Ng bagong Capitol ng Ligao. So, napakaganda po ng Capitol po ng Ligao City. Kailan ba yung ano yan, yung fireworks display? Later ba yon o kagabi pa? Hindi mo rin alam mo.
Later ata, sir.
Ah? Kailan?
Later ata.
Later. So, yan. So, ating mga ano yan, Ligawenyo, marami, ano yan, maraming salamat kasi nakapagpagawa kayo ng ano yan, napakagandang, very iconic na ano yan, na Capitol dito po sa, ano yan, sa 3rd District of Albay. Okay? So, shoutout po sa mga taga-Ligao. Okay? Ligao City. And later on, baka meron po tayong fireworks display po, okay, for the celebration and inauguration of our new capital sa Ligao City. Okay, maraming salamat po, ma'am. And we have Ma'am Arvin J. Repala. Ma'am, bati ka po sila.
Hello, good morning po sa viewers and sa iyo po, sir.
Di ba? Taray. Alright. So, nasan yung shades si ma'am? Ma'am, tagasan si, ano yan? Si Sir Arvin, tagasan?
I'm from Buga, Libon, Albay po, sir.
Alright, so shoutout po sa mga taga-Buga, Libon, Albay. So dalawa na tayo kami from Libon, no? Okay, thank you very much po. And we have Ma'am Hana Veronica Toca. Ma'am, bati po sila. Yung sama, tinawag ko, nag-off ng cam.
What's up, madlang people?
Tagasan si ma'am?
Taga Centro Oriental pa lang yung Albay ko.
Pa-off-off eh. Katagayin mo sila pala ka sa ilaw mo. Logo. Okay, so shoutout po sa mga taga-Barangay Ilawod, Centro Occidental, Pulangi, Albay. Thank you very much, Ma'am Toca. And we have Ma'am LV Palma. Ma'am, bati po sila.
Hello, good morning po.
Tagasan po si ma'am?
I'm from Amugis, Pulangi, Albay po.
Ayan. Shoutout po sa mga taga-Barangay Mugis, Pulangi, Albay. Thank you very much, ma'am. We have also here Ma'am Abigail Buere. Ma'am? Hello.
Hello, sir. What's up, madlang people?
Taray, ma'am. Ano yan? Taray, air condition. Naka-jacket ka pa. Summer.
Nasa Korea ako, sir. Korea.
Ibang mga trip na ito ngayon, ha? Okay. Ayos. Ito yung summer outfit, ha? Tapos naka-ano yan, ha? Taray, eh. Diba? So, tagasan si ma'am?
From Ligao City, sir. Bagong Bayan, Ligao City.
Alright. Shout out po sa mga taga-barangay Bagong Bayan, Ligao City. Thank you very much, Ma'am Abigail. And we have Ma'am Trisha May Malate. Ma'am.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Wala talaga nangyari, no? Setup ng... Ganun pa rin nangyari, no? Tagasan nga si ma'am?
I'm from Barangay San Antonio, Libon, Albay po.
Ayan, shoutout po sa mga taga-barangay San Antonio, Libon Albay. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much, Ma'am Trisha. And we have Ma'am Nicole Angela Largosa. Ma'am, bati po sila.
Good morning, everyone. I am Nicole Angela Largosa and I am from Anopol, Pulangi, Albay po.
Alright, shoutout po sa mga taga-Upland, Anopol, Pulangi, Albay. Thank you very much, Ma'am Nicole. And we have Ma'am Andrea Kenyo. Ma'am, bati po sila.
Good morning po, sir, and to the viewers.
Tagasan si Ma'am?
I'm from Bula, Camarines, sir po, sir.
Oh, ayan. Shoutout po sa mga taga Municipality of Bula, Camarines Sur. Masala pa ako, Albay ko. Alright, taga dyan po si ano yan, yung dating residence ni Ma'am nyo. Ano yan? Ma'am nyo Joy, ano yan? Reboriano. Pero taga-uwa siya ngayon. Shoutout po kay Ma'am Joy Reboriano dyan po sa Bicol University Pulangi Campus Teacher Education Department. Maraming salamat po for watching. Thank you very much, Ma'am Andrea. And we have Ma'am Kellen Nepomuceno. Ma'am, bati po sila.
Hello, everyone. Good morning po. Good morning, sir.
Tagasan si Ma'am?
Ilawar Norte, Uwas, Albay po.
Okay, shoutout po sa mga taga-barangay Ilawar Norte. Uwas Albay. Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Kellen. And we have also Ma'am Maria Cristina Cassandra Ragos. Ma'am, bati po.
Hello, good morning mga ka-edu. Good morning, sir.
Tagasan si Ma'am?
From San Vicente, Libon, Albay po.
Okay, San Vicente Libon Albay. Shoutout po sa inyo dyan. Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Ragos. And we have Ma'am Hazel Mocha Pura. Ma'am, bati po sila.
For today's video, good morning mga ka-edu.
Bumanat pa. Tagasan si Ma'am?
Taga Marayag. Marayag, sir, Libon.
Pusit, magkakapit bahay lang tayo. Si Sir nyo taga Alamon. Oh, yan, sa kabilang ano yan, kabilang tawag ba dito? Kabilang Uma. Ayan. So, shoutout po sa mga taga-barangay Marayag, Libon Albay. Nami-miss ko nga yan eh. Kala ko ang Marayag part ng Uwas eh. Kasi connected na yan sa Uwas. Dire-diretso na yan doon. Diba? So maganda na rin yung kalsada dyan. Okay? Thank you very much, Ma'am Hazel. And last but not least, but ano yan? Sana naka-on na yung mic ni Ma'am. Okay na, Ma'am, yung mic mo? We have Ma'am Jenny Sepato. Ma'am, bati po sila. Ano yan? Parang nagdo-double yung ano yan eh, yung audio ni Ma'am. But anyway, Ma'am, mamaya ayusin natin. Alright, thank you very much, Ma'am Sipato. Ayusin natin mamaya. Parang nagdo-double yung click, no? Parang napapasma yung ano yan, yung Google Meet natin. But anyway, thank you very much po. Sila po, ladies and gentlemen, na ating set of discussion ngayong umaga po regarding drama. So, huwag kayong halis and we'll be right back. Alright, so nagbabalik ang inyong host, AJ Casantay. So ladies and gentlemen, let's start now our discussion for today's topic, which is drama along Jack 16. And that's arts appreciation, okay? So, to discuss this first subtopic, may ako on now, Ma'am... Asa na ba yung... Ma'am LB Palma na ano yan eh. Tawag ba dito? Nag-deform yung ano yan. But anyway, So, nandyan pa sila lahat. So, thank you very much for your industry, ladies. Okay, so let's start the discussion. We have Ma'am LB Pama. Ma'am, take it away.
The theater was created to tell people the truth about life and the social situation. A quote borrowed from Stella Adler in her Theater and Aging. A delightful day, everyone. This is the Team Theater Arts. And along with this discussion, you will be able to understand the origins of theater internationally and locally, be able to identify the elements, styles, types, and forms of theater arts, and be able to recognize the famous theatrical actors in the Philippines. For today's discussion, we are 14th discussant in this topic. So please move the slide, sir. So if you want to deepen your knowledge about theater arts, keep an eye out until the very end of this discussion. Okay, let me commence my discussion. A question. Please move the slide, sir. What is a theater arts? So first, let's define theater, a building. Well, theater comes from the Greek word theatron, means the seeing place. It refers to a place or which an act or a play is performed. Thus, this definition is narrow to help us much in defining throughout this discussion. In fact, they say theater is harder to define than history. In reality, theater offers a wide range of possibilities in both theory and reality. So, next slide, sir. So, the first play, most historians trace back the formal development of theater from the city-state of Athens. The beginning of theater, as we understand it today, occurred around 5th century BCE. So, this play, or it was a play or a festival to honor Dionysus. And they are singing hymns, and that hymns was called dithyrambs. And later on, that hymns adopted from choral processions. And those people are wearing costumes, they are wearing masks, and those people, those participants had a special role on that procession. But they are not yet actors as we expected it to be. So Thespis is the first actor. He also introduced the use of mask because mask depicts the age and the emotion of the actor. And Thespis won an award in a dramatic competition. So therefore, the actors, those actors were called thespians after the name of Thespis.
Okay.
So
Ganun pala
that time,
yun.
that time also, women are not allowed to perform theater. So ang ginagawa nila is yung mga lalaki, they are wearing female masks and do their
Yeah.
parts. So the most desired or admired type of play in Greek theater is tragedy. So next, sir. So
Okay.
this is Dionysus. This is Dionysus, the god of wine and fertility, and the Greek god of theater. So why Dionysus is the god of theater? Because according or based of what I've read, Dionysus has a power to inspire and to create ecstasy. And his cult had a special importance for art and literature. And that's
Okay.
it. Next slide, sir. So, the ancient theater of Dionysus in Athens. So this is where the festival of entertainment held in honor to god Dionysus. This was established by tyrant Pisistratus, and that time, Pisistratus is the ruler of the city. So I'm not going to expand it anymore since my discussant for that topic. So let's talk about the perennial controversy between theater in RE form and theater in ER form. So theater in RE is an art or a performance, or might I say it is a verb, while theater in ER is a building or where the action takes place, or it is a noun. So
Okay.
theater in RE is very proverbial inside UK, while theater in ER is very common in US. So you might hear also someone says that theater in RE is a journey, and theater in ER form is a destination. So are they both correct? Well, technically, yes, they are both correct. So here in the Philippines, we don't mind either. We both use theater in ER for consistency, for defining physical structure and the art. So that's it. Next slide, sir. So the next slide is all about people who define theater and those who search for the origin of it. So apparently there is no origin story of theater that everyone agrees on, and they are just attributed to simple storytelling. But there are some theories that we can explore at the West at 6th or 7th century, but those leave uncertainty to people. Those people who defined it often resorted to metaphors, or these are just conjecture. So let's go on to John Cage. Theater takes place all the time wherever one is. And wherever one is. And art simply facilitates persuading one, and this is the case. So it can be big or small, outdoors or indoors, purpose or just borrowed, or there are also people performing in some spaces that aren't even theater at all. Well, is everything theater? Well, they say no every time. What is and isn't theater is a kind of question that can make your head spin, especially when we talk about protest, immersive, and political theater. But let's just use some narrow definition for it. So this is why John Cage's definition of theater resorted to metaphors. So let's move this slide, sir. So, okay. One modern historian, Paddy Gillespie, defined the theater as a performance by living actors that takes place in the presence of living audiences. So you wouldn't say, or you cannot say that it is a theater unless you witness it, unless you watch it personally. Or actually, it is a very different kind of feeling when you watch a theater. So
Yeah.
it's such a fulfilling.
It's really so different. When you watch theater,
Yes, sir.
really, okay, live. Okay? Not by digitally live. As in,
Recorded
presently,
video.
dapat nandun ka. Diba?
It's just like putting yourself in their shoes, and you are like there watching what happened.
Yeah.
So that is according to Patty Gillespie. You wouldn't be able to say that it is a theater unless you witness it. So next, sir. So in the late 19th century, a group of classical decided to search for the origins of theater, and they took an anthropological approach, and they saw theater as a direct evolution of religious ritual. And this theory really got going to James Fraser. Next slide, sir, please. So in the Golden Bow, written between 1896 and 1915, Fraser and his contemporaries, Cambridge ritualists, tried to take a scientific approach to the question of theater origins. He looked around at so-called primitive societies in Asia and Africa. What is this primitive societies? Yung mga pamumuhay dati, yung wala pang writing system or industries. So, as societies he didn't really know much about, and decided that theater had emerged as a sophisticated, refining ritual. So, according to Fraser, you start out worshiping some kind of god or practice and that worship gets distilled into rituals to attract the attention of God or to guarantee good fortune. So once your primitive society really gets going, those rituals generate myths, and those myths gets transmuted into theater.
Yeah.
And this view is getting better and better and better all the time, and that calls positivism. And it's according to John Fraser. Ritual to myth, and myth to theater. Okay, next slide. So Herodotus. Even Herodotus, they say theater is very different, very hard to define than history. So even Herodotus and Aristotle, they don't have a reliable data for it. So Herodotus, writing in the 5th century BCE, describing a ceremony he witnessed in Egypt. And this ceremony occurs at sunset in temple. Aries' mother lived in this temple, and Aries, who was raised elsewhere, after having become a man wishing to lay with his mother since he was raised elsewhere, however, his mother doesn't know him. The servants of his mother did not look the other way the way he entered, rather than they fended him off. Aries fetched men to handle the servants roughly and went inside to his mother. So they look to these stories like this to illustrate their mind that worship becomes ritual, ritual becomes myth, myth becomes performance. And for this reason, this fight in behalf of Aries at the festival has become a tradition. So worship becomes a ritual, ritual becomes a myth, and myth becomes a performance, and that is theater.
Yun,
Someone
yun pala
writes
yun.
a few songs of to go along with the skull spitting, and someone turn battle into dance, or let us simmer for a millennia or two, and that's it. West Side Story. So next. So another related theory which really gets going with Aristotle, that human beings have a mimetic impulse. Humans have an inbuilt desire to imitate, to act, or to pretend, and that's how we learn. So if one sees it as a sort of performance, marami kasing theater na there are many theater arises from everything, a society, because we human are naturally imitative species. Gaya-gaya man kasi tayo. Kaya ganun, maraming theater na nag-arise. So, according to him, the desire eventually gets refined and codified into theater. It was according to Aristotle. Because we human are a naturally imitative species. So, let's move on to James Hamilton. According to him, theater a form of art in its own right, independent of literature. To sum it up, ritual, myth, playing pretend, worshiping, we can get it all to Hamilton. Somehow out of all of it, this may be none out of it, we can get it to Hamilton. So let's turn to the last question. Why does we care? Why does theater matter? So let me just leave you an idea come from Percy de Shelley. The highest moral purpose aimed in the highest species of the drama is the teaching the human heart, through its sympathies and antipathies, the knowledge of itself. That's all for my discussion. I hope you've gained something. I hope I've added some knowledge about theater. Thank you for making it up until here.
All right. Thank you very much, Ma'am LB Pamaya. Well said, Ma'am. So, yun. So, ladies and gentlemen, no? Para sa mga viewers natin, no? Ang ibig sabihin nung sinabi ni Ma'am, yung panghuli, simple lang naman yun. 'Di ba? Kaya merong teatro dahil sa humanities, sa tao. Yan. Kasi normal yan, nag-acting talaga sa theater ay tao. 'Di ba? Kaya para sa tao talaga yung teatro. Okay? Normally, if dinidepict yung gods and goddesses, well, of course, it's for the reason that we need to impart information, knowledges, and even arts to humanity. Yeah. Kaya pala, ang theater arts, parts ng humanities. Kasi, ladies and gentlemen, during those time, sa old curriculum namin, hindi naman to arts appreciation. Ang tawag dito sa subject ninyo is humanities. Ayan. Yung pala yung ibig sabihin. Alright? So, thank you very much, Ma'am LB. Okay? Thank you very much po. And we proceed now sa next discussion natin. History and background of theater arts in the Philippines. Who's gonna be this one? Sino?
Nicole po, sir.
Okay, Ma'am Nicole, ikaw na po.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Now that you have learned about the origins of theater, let us go now to the history and background of theater arts in the Philippines. The Philippine theater history is indeed colorful, as it was influenced by various colonizers throughout the centuries. But now, let us start from the pre-colonial. During the prehistoric times, theater in the Philippines was in the form of indigenous rituals, verbal joust or games, or maybe songs, dances to praise gods. And according to early chronicles, there are three elements, which are the myth, mimesis, and the spectacle. During this entrance state, the priest or priestess would consume the sacrificial offering, which could be in the form of pig, chicken, rice wine, or nuts. Ang tawag po doon sa mga priest or priestess, may mga iba-iba po silang name. Meron pong tinatawag na mandadawak, katalonan, bayok, or babaylan. And these people, nagtatawag sila ng mga spirits para pumasok sa kanilang katawan at habang ginagawa ito, may mga sacrificial offering tulad nga ng pigs, cows, and many more. Next slide po, sir. Now, we are in the Spanish era, the Spanish regime. When the Spaniards reached our shores, they used dramas such as zarzuelas as a pedagogical tool to influence the pagan tribes and teach them about Christianity and religion. Another important form of theater during this time is moro-moro. Tinatawag din siyang linambay or arakyo.
So ano madam ang ano ma'am ang ano yan? Ano ang show sa Moro-Moro? Ano yan sa Moro-Moro or sa Linambay? Ano yung pinapakita dito? Ano yung palaging ano yan? Ang tawag ba dito subject ng theater pag Moro-Moro?
Kapag sinabi po nating Moro-Moro, isa siyang drama tungkol sa war between the Christian and the Muslim. Kasi nung panahon ng Espanyol po, gusto nilang ipalaganap ang Christianity, ang Kristyanismo sa Pilipinas. Kaya ang naisip po nilang way na para mapalaganap ito ay tungkol sa isang drama, o tinatawag nating Moro-Moro, na kung saan may war between the Muslim and the Christian at sa huli, laging Kristiyano po ang nananalo.
Yeah, so ginamit palang political yung teatro, no? Pwede pala yung mangyari talaga. At ginamit na rin talaga yon. Okay, so let's proceed po, ma'am.
Next po, the comedies were normally performed in pueblos or so-called village centers para maka-attract sila ng maraming tao at mapalaganap ang komedya noong panahon nila. Ang komedya po ay tumatagal ng 3 hanggang 15 oras. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang to 1 oras o 2. So, nakakapagod po pala talagang gawin yon.
So, in short, if you're going to watch a theater show during those times, ilagay mo na yung isang araw para dyan. Sa admission pa lang din sa yung 3 oras. Alam mo yung ginagawa ng iba dyan, natutulog yun.
15 oras, grabe sila.
Diba? Kakita na ako niyan kasi nakanood na ako sa theater. Yung mga niyan, yung mga mayayamang tao, nandun sila sa pinakaunahan. Mga matatanda, di ba? Mag-asawa. Normally yung mga yan natutulog na sa kalagitnaan ng show. Kasi air condition na ngayon sa theater. Naobserbahan ko yung mga yan, natutulog na sila. Parang ginawa lang talaga na parang ano yan for the sake na makatulog sila doon. Nagbayad pa ng napakamahal, no, di ba? Iba talaga pag ano yan, pag ano yan, rich, di ba? Let's proceed, ma'am.
At ang pinakaunang Filipino komedya po na pinerform noon sa salitang Latin at Espanyol ay ginawa ni Father Vicente Puche sa Cebu noong 1598. Noong panahon, next slide po pala. Noong panahon ng Espanyol, pinasikat din po nila ang zarzuela. Ang zarzuela is a form of musical theater that combines spoken word and song that celebrates various Catholic liturgical feasts. Like po yung Pasko ng pagkabuhay, yung Lenten season po.
Yan.
Jugar con Fuego by Francisco Asenjo Barbire was the first zarzuela na in-introduce sa Pilipinas noong 1878 o early 1879. Noong August 17, 1893 naman, ang Teatro Zorilla po ay kinilala bilang tahanan ng mga zarzuela. Sa loob po nung 333 years o 3 siglo, na-influence na po ang mga Pilipino ng tradisyon, kultura at lingwahe, pati ang relihiyon ng mga Espanyol. Tulad po ngayon, ang salitang merkado po ay hiram na salita galing sa mga Espanyol na ang ibig sabihin po ay market. Ang English word naman pong table sa Pilipinas po ay mesa or la mesa at sa Espanyol naman ay tinatawag itong mesa.
Alright.
At
So
ang
ngayon, ang regarding dito sa ano yan, sa Spanish regime, malaking factor pala for us to inculturate religious ang doctrines coming from the Roman Catholics by means of theater arts. Napakalaki pala po ng role nito. Kaya until now, ano ba yung mga kilala ninyong parang role play? Okay, lalong-lalo tawag ba dito? Mag-Holy Week na. Ano ba yung ginagawa sa kalsada? Ano tawag nga doon?
Procession po.
Procession. Ano pa? Ano pa yung ginagawa? Isang act yan isang parang role play na it depicts the passion of Christ. Oo. Ano nga tawag doon? Ano nga tawag doon? Sinakulo. Naalala niyo sinakulo? Kaya pag ano dyan, may nagdidepict ni Jesus Christ, merong mga romance, merong na yung parang nagpapasakit sa mga sarili nila. Di ba? Para kung ano yung nangyayari during that the time where Christ is doing is passion. Ganun din yung dinidepict. So, kung nakakita na kayo dyan personally, mararamdaman nyo yung essence ng sakripisyo ni Jesus Christ for the humanity. So, laking tulong nun para ma-inculturate talaga natin yung Roman Catholicism. So, hindi lang talaga purely Santa Misa yung ginamit ng mga Espanyol. Bagkus ginamit nila ang arts para lalo tayong mapalapit sa Roman Catholicism or sa Christian faith. Ayan. So, let's proceed, ma'am.
Okay, next slide po, sir. We come now to the American period, the American colonization. When American colonial rule was established, United States introduced the American way of life sa pamamagitan po ng education, media, and the language. Their influence on Philippine theater is most apparent through vaudeville in Filipino and English is vaudeville, and the plays and drama stage are translated into English. Noong 1898 naman po, ang pinakaunang vaudeville na pinroduce ay ng Manila Dramatic Guild for the sole purpose na i-entertain yung mga American soldiers at ang ibang Amerikanong nakatira sa Maynila. Next slide po, sir. Ang vaudeville po is not a straight-up play. Ang straight-up play po means a play na nagpapakita ng katotohanan. Isang drama na nagpapakita kung ano ang totoo. Ibig sabihin, ang vaudeville daw po ay hindi ganon. Ibig sabihin, siya, parang fiction, parang may halo siya ng salamangka, ganon po.
Okay.
The theatrical performance is in fact a mix of songs, dances, comedy skits, and even magical performances po. Kaya po, hindi siya naging straight-up play kasi may mga part po doon na may mga magical performances po silang nilalagay. Not long after, the vaudeville was interjected into comedies and zarzuelas. Dahil nga po, malaki ang impluensya ng mga Espanyol sa theater arts ng Pilipinas noon, ginawa ng mga Amerikano as intermission number ang mga komedya at zarzuela at tinawag po nila itong jamborees. Noong 1930 naman po, inintroduce to Broadway theater or stage plays through the westernized education that was provided in most private school for privileged children. Noong panahon ng mga Amerikano po, ang mga theater plays ay ginagana po sa mga private school. Kaya ibig sabihin, yung mga privilege lang ng mga bata o mga tao ang makakapanood nun.
Yep.
At ang karaniwan pong mga play na pinapakita doon ay ang mga gawa po ni Shakespeare, as well as the Western classics, at ang mga salita doon ay Ingles.
Di ba kahit ngayon din, di ba? Kahit ngayong panahon, tanungin ko kayo kaya, lahat na ba kayo nakapunta sa isang totoong teatro?
Hindi pa po.
Di ba po?
Oh. Alam niyo, supposedly, kung hindi pandemic, nagtutur tayo ngayon. Supposedly, nasa CCP tayo ngayon. Kasi saan talaga ninyo makikita ngayon yung mga pinakamagagandang shows or theatrical shows na yung mga nagpe-perform talaga yung mga mga fine artists. of course, sa NCR. Kasi nandun talaga po yung sentro ng theater arts in the Philippines. So, English major kayo. Huwag kayong papayag na hindi kayo makakapag-attend o makakapanood ng isang theater arts sa buong buhay ninyo. Go to CCP. Kahit magkano yung price ng ticket, basta makapanood kayo. Kaya iba kasi yung experience. Hindi kayo po mapagkukwentuhan pag nakakita talaga kayo ng totoo. Iba yung feeling di ba? Alright, so let's proceed, ma'am.
Next slide po, sir. Now we come now to the Japanese period. By 1940, when the Japanese took over the Philippines from the Americans, movie actors and actresses could no longer appear in films. Kasi po, kinonfiscate po nila lahat ng mga film equipment noong panahon ng Amerikano. However, the komedya, sarsuela, and the vaudeville remained in the country as a form of entertainment and expression. Nung panahon naman po ng Japanese, ginawa na lang nila bilang parang intermission number, entertainment na lang yung komedya, sarsuela ng mga Espanyol at ang vaudeville ng mga Amerikano.
Kasi
Eventually,
di kasi nila maintindihan yung English. Yun ang problema doon. Kaya papyaw na lang diba? So ano naman yung inintroduce ng mga Hapon sa atin?
Ito lang po, sir. Eventually, the vaudeville evolved to become stage shows or variety shows with a short melodrama at the end to accommodate the actors and actresses who moved their craft to vaudeville and theater. Noong panahon po ng mga Hapon, ang mga ginawa na po nila is mga variety shows na po siya, mga stage shows.
Okay.
At ang mga venues po noon ng panahon ng mga Hapon ay ang Manila Grand Opera House and the Savoy Theater na kinilala bilang tahanan ng mga vaudeville.
Yan. Nagbukas na ulit yan ngayon. Okay? Naayos na po yan sa Maynila. Open na ulit siya. After how many decades kasi di siya nagsarado yan So ngayon bukas na siya ulit. Kaya mas dumami na yung theater ngayon sa sa Manila. Okay? Let's proceed.
Okay, next slide po, sir. After the war, movies returned to popularity and the vaudeville era slowly lost its luster. Ibig sabihin po, ng Japanese period, may mga movies na po. Pinakilala na po, pinag-introduce po ng mga Japanese yung movies. At ang vaudeville naman po ay unti-unti na pong nawala. Stage shows become small, cheap performances held in open-air stages in the provinces. Sadly, the vaudeville deteriorated decades later to become burlesque and strip shows held in cheap theaters around American military bases. Ang burlesque po na tinutukoy dito ay yung mga it can be written or performed exaggerated na play. Exaggerated play po siya.
Normally
Next
for
slide
entertainment
po, sir.
na lang talaga 'Di ba? So ano napansin ninyo? Yung dating ilang minuto, dating ilang oras na show, paikli ng paikli. 'Di ba? Pakonti ng pakonti because ano man nangyari? Through education, madami na rin po yung may alam kung paano mag-acting. So, kung kayo may-ari ng isang theater, so i-schedule nyo na po bawat company. Hindi lang isang company kasi madami na din sila. So, lahat naman yan naghahanap buhay. So, kung ikaw ay businessman, so dapat makapasok yung lahat actually to cater more viewers and at the same time more revenue. Kaya paikli yung show. Diba? Madaming show, makakapagpili yung tao. Tama? Okay, let's proceed, ma'am.
Okay, let's come now to the Philippine theater today. After the Japanese occupation, the Philippine theater has evolved to become an amalgamation of the various influences such as yung sarsuela, yung komedya, vaudeville, at ang mga Western classics. Theater was largely performed in English during the time as it became a large part of classroom education. Since nga po, na nabanggit po kanina na noong panahon ng mga Amerikano, ipinakilala nila ang edukasyon sa atin. Kaya halos lahat ng mga school na mga panahon na to ay nagsasalita, itinuturo po ay Ingles. Kaya po yung mga theater arts po, yung mga plays po noon ay English adaptation po.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the sarsuelas such as ang Kiri, Dalagang Bukid, ang Paglipas ng Dilim became well-known beyond their regions. At sa panahon naman na to, ang mga playwrights tulad ni Severino Montano, Wilfrido
Yan.
Maria Guerrero, and Alberto
Yes.
S. Florentino ay ang mga kilalaang mandudula na nagpatuloy ng paggawa ng teatro dito sa Pilipinas.
Philippines, yan.
Next slide po, sir. Through the years, Philippine theater groups have staged numerous plays in both English and Filipino, be it written by a Western or local playwright. Tandaan po natin na ang Spanish culture and tradition ay naimpluwensyahan yung performing arts ng Pilipinas. While the contemporary style ay hiniram natin sa mga Amerikano. Classic shows such as The West Side Story and The Sound of Music made waves in recent years when it took the local stage. Tapos po, may mga example po ako dito ng mga theater company na nagpe-perform pa rin po ng theater nowadays. We have the PETA or the Philippine Educational Theater Association. We have the Trumpets, Repertory Philippines, Tanghalang Pilipino, Gantimpala Theater Foundation, and those following groups are professional theater companies.
Yes. Muntik pa ako nga dyan makasali sa PETA eh. Sabi ko dun sa professor ko, sabi, di ako sasali, ma'am, sa music po ako. Kasi ano yan eh, ang nakasama kami sa workshop nila sa acting. Sabi ko, ma'am, hindi po ako member dyan. Sa music po ako. Nakakaloka yun eh. Kasi music major si sir ninyo. Pero part yan ng aming curriculum. Kaya napagdaanan din namin yan. Yang ano yan sa membership ng PETA. Pero di ako nag-member talaga dyan. Kasi hindi naman ako darating ang panahon magiging actor. Gusto ko lang manood ng drama. I'm just a fan of ano yan, theater arts. Di ba, ma'am? Ano pa po?
May mga student-based theater organization din po na continuously creating theater performances nowadays. We have the Dulaang UP, Tanghalang Ateneo, Harlequin Theater Guild, the Teatro Tomasino, UE Drama Company, Teatro de Letran, at ang pinaka-oldest po na hanggang ngayon po ay patuloy na nagsasagawa ng mga theater plays ay ang FEU Theater.
Right.
To sum up, ang Philippine theater po ay naimpluwensyahan ng mga iba't ibang lahi po. Starting from the pre-colonial po, bago po tayo sakupin, next po is the Spanish, sumunod naman po yung mga Americans, the Japanese, hanggang sa nakabuild po tayo ng sarili nating idea on what is theater. So that's all po. I hope you learned something from me today po.
Alright, thank you very much, Ma'am Nicole. Well said, Ma'am. So, yung pala yun mga ka-eduk. So, di biro po yung pinagdaanan ng kasaysayan ng teatro dito sa Pilipinas. So, madami tayong pinagdaanan. Yan. So, galing sa mga mananakop until sa tayo makabuo ng sariling atin. Okay? So, maraming salamat po, Ma'am Nicole. Okay, let's proceed na po sa next topic natin, and that is the elements of theater. Okay, may we call na our next discussion? Sino po sila? Yan. Sino na? Okay, Ma'am Wency. Okay, it's your turn na po.
So, after learning all about the history and background of theater arts, let's dive into its elements. Just like the elements of visual arts and music, the elements of theater arts are of importance. These elements ensure the effective delivery of the message or the essence of the whole play to the public. Now, there are 6 Aristotelian elements of a play: the plot, character, theme, language, rhythm, and spectacle. However, we will not be discussing these by themselves. Instead, we incorporated them into 12 of the most important elements considered in theater, which Arvin, my partner in this topic, and I will be tackling all about. Okay, first, the performers. The performers are one of the major elements in theater. This consists of the actors and actresses and other performers who can be seen on stage presenting characters in dramatic action. As many of you know, the performers are the ones who portray a character in theater. They are people who have studied dramatic arts and who present the play in its history through scripts, scenes, actions, and costumes, and etc. It is their responsibility to embody the character, express their dialogues with feelings and emotions accordingly, and move through proper gestures and actions. They should be believable for the audience to perceive their role pique their interests, and evoke emotions, thus giving life to the characters, story, and events. In the picture are the actors playing the young version of the main characters in Ang Huling El Bimbo. The names are listed according to their position in the photo. Uga Bonada as Eman Azarcon, Gab Pangilinan as Joy Manawari, Bibo Reyes as Hector Samala, T. Palmos as Anthony or AJ Cruz. And I don't know if some of you have seen Ang Huling El Bimbo, but it is a jukebox musical written by Ding Dong Novenario featuring the hit songs of the Filipino band Razor.
Maganda yan. Napanood ko na yan. Manood kayo niyan. Hanapin nyo. Mayroon niya i-excerpt sa YouTube pero mas maganda kung makuha ninyo yung buo. Kasi mahaba-haba din siya. Okay, let's proceed, ma'am.
So, let's proceed to the next element, which is the text or script. The text is another major element in theater. It traces and explains the story as this is composed of the name of the play, the plot, characters, dialogue, and stage directions and actions for the performers. It is called a script when the work is to be developed in the cinema or on stage. The text is divided into acts, and the acts in turn are divided into smaller fragments called tables. Without the text, the work would not exist, thus considering its essence. As you can see, the text or script includes 5 of the Aristotelian elements, which are the plot, character, theme, language, and rhythm. It contains the chronological detailing of the events, the approach, conflict, climax, and finale, the names of the character along with the actions and directions that they need to execute, the theme of the play, the language that the performers use to express themselves, which may be narrative or dramatic, and the combination of their individual rhythms or presence that create impact towards the audience. Next element is the space. The space is where the performers and audiences come together. It is essential to have a stage where the actors and actresses can perform and another area for the audience members to sit or stand. Shown in the pictures are theaters in the Philippines, namely Tanghalang Aurelio Tolentino and Tanghalang Nicanor Abelardo.
Yep. Saan niya matatagpuan? Sa CCP.
Yes.
Yeah po. Yung pinaka main theater talaga is the Tanghalang Nicanor Abelardo. That's the biggest theater in the CCP compound or CCP complex. Okay? Let's proceed, ma'am.
The space where the theatrical performance takes place does not necessarily need to be inside a theater. It can be performed in a street, park, or any building as long as performers are able to move freely and their props along with other elements can be presented. Let's proceed to the next element, which is the design aspect. Now, this element is more of a general one as this includes the visual and non-visual aspects that are broken into specific ones. The visual aspects include the stage set, costumes, lighting, makeup, props, special effects, and multimedia. While non-visual effect aspects are the voice, sound, or background music. Let's proceed to one visual aspect, the costume. Costumes include clothing and accessories worn by actors and actresses. The wardrobe is the key element in identifying the characters. In addition, it allows us to identify the period or place in which the story takes place. In this way, we see how a character can be created through costumes. This work is developed by a professional stylist in coordination with the makeup artist. So aside from knowing what period or location of the story takes place, we can also perceive bits of the character's identity and emotions through their clothing or costumes. For example, is their social class, their personality, and underlying symbolism that are depicted in the colors and patterns they wear.
Tama.
Next visual aspect is the lighting. The lighting includes the way lights are moved and is used for the spotlights to illuminate one or another area of the stage or the actor. It also includes all the lights and spotlights used during the work. Thus, they allow to transmit certain emotions to highlight or to hide actors and others. If you have seen a theater performance, you can observe the importance of lighting. Not
Yeah.
only does it highlight actors, scenes, and areas, but it can also depict the emotion and symbolization for the
Yes.
audience to interpret what is happening on stage. If I can give an example, there is the opening scene in Ang Huling El Bimbo. It takes place after years after the conflict have already arisen. The three main characters, the male ones, were introduced with only them seen on stage with the use of spotlights. The light only shows whoever is currently singing, while their background is dark or black. They are singing about their the current state of their lives, and when they were called by an unknown number, relating them to each other. Then, the light spread out, showing them contemplating if they will come together to the caller.
Yep. Okay.
Next is the non-visual aspect, which is the sound. The sound consists mainly of music and various sound effects. Example given is the sound of birds in the spring scene. It allows us to emphasize history and enrich it. It also includes microphones. The theater production should greatly consider the quality of sounds they project and its appropriateness in the time and context of the story. For example, in the introduction scene, in El Bimbo, in introducing the college year of the three male characters in Ang Huling El Bimbo, the audience can assume that Eman lives in the province, considering the prop as well as the background music that includes the roosters that are crowing. And although there were no sound effects when AJ and Hector were introduced, the background music plays an upbeat sound depicting or showing that they are hoping to have a wonderful experience in college. Now, the volume of the background music should be just right to not overlap the performer's dialogues.
Yeah. Yan ang trabaho ni sir nyo. Yan ang trabaho namin. Okay? Yung nakaupo sa mixing console, nagtatrabaho with the director and the stage director on how to place the music synchronously doon sa ating theater performance. Yan ang trabaho namin. Ako kasi sa audio, iba naman yung sa lightings. Magkaiba yan dapat para talagang maganda yung industry. Kasi kung lahat mo yan nahawakan, makapagkamali ka kung ano na mangyari, kung ano mapindot mo dyan, nagkamali-mali pa yung tugtog. Yeah. So, normally, kapag nagkakaroon ng production, theater production, sabihin na natin, mga 500 na tao, kailangan mo eh. Wala pa doon yung yung main cast. Crew pa lang yun. Kasi dapat talaga organisado yan. Kasi nakakatakot kung may mali pong mangyari. Remember, kapag tayo ay artist, we are not perfect, but we are aiming for perfection. Ayan. So, ano pa mamang susunod natin?
That's all for my discussion. Mr. Repalo will continue some of the remaining visual and non-visual aspects and as well as the other elements. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Wency. Well said. Let's proceed na po sa next discussion. And that's here. The next one. Makeup. Okay, pasok na po.
Good day, everyone. This is the continuation of the elements of theater arts. First one is the makeup. Makeup is another element of the theater which allows the actor or actresses through his or physical appearance. The theatrical makeup is the practice of painting, enhancing, or altering the face, hair, and body of the actor with the cosmetics, plastic materials, and other substances. It is also the collective term for the materials used in making up. So, as you can see in the picture, it is an example of makeup that uses cosmetic materials and to obtain the right face for the character. So,
Sir,
next post.
Ano sa tingin mo kung walang makeup ang artist?
Sir, parang hindi siya magandang tingnan kasi kumbaga dapat i-obtain mo din talaga yung mismong character.
Yan.
Halimbawa po sir, kung more on sa mga myths, dapat sir, on character ka talaga.
Tama.
Next
diba?
po.
Nakakatakot kung mali yung makeup nila. Hindi nasunod
Dapat
yung
naaayon po sir yung makeup mo sa scene.
Diba? Kasi pwedeng maloko yung audience eh. Paglabas, sandali lang. Di ba yun yung villain? bakit ang mas maganda pa yung villain doon sa ano yan? Sa hero, di ba? So, importante talaga yung makeup. Okay, let's proceed, sir.
So next one is the scenography. The scenography encompasses the different decoration used to the story. That is to say, it decorates the space where the actors perform. The objective of the scenography is to represent the historical epoch of the plot, as well as the temporal, social, and geographical space in which it takes place. The term scenography includes all of the elements that contribute the establishing an atmosphere and mood for a theatrical presentation, like lighting, sound, set, and costume design. So when we say scenography, it refers to art of perspective representation, especially as applied to the design and painting of the stage scenery. It improves the total appearance of the stage and gives an idea of the setting and what kind of story that the theater has. For example po sir, when the stage scenography is more on environmental, we might expect that the play focus on an adventure or exploration.
Yeah.
So next po sir. So next one is objects. Objects, also called props, are objects that our actors and actresses use throughout the different performance. They can move them, throw them, and hide them, and etc. depending on the action. Although they are considered as part of the scenography, they are also considered distinctive elements of the theater. Objects are materials or props po that are used by the actors and actresses to improve the scene of the play or make a realistic. Kasi ang pangit naman po sir kung mag-a-acting ka lang and wala man lang ka props. For example, if the play is focused on war, the actors must use props like guns and other materials that are related to war so that the play will become realistic.
Yan.
So, next po, sir. So, next aspect of the theater elements is the director. The director is the person who coordinates the play so that all the elements of the theater work correctly. In turn, he may or may not be an actor. Her job includes coordinating scenes, actors, makeup, and etc. This is the ultimate responsible person. A theater director is a stage director, is a professional in the theater field who oversees and orchestrates the mounting of the theater production, such as the play, opera, dance, drama, and musical. So theater performance and etc. By unifying various endeavors and aspect of production, they are the people who are involved in the overall appearance of the play. So next is audience. Audience is the people to whom the play is exposed, who come to see it. The audience is an important aspect of art because they are the ones who will watch the performance and provide feedback if it is successful. So, kung wala ang audience po, parang imposible naman na hindi mangyari ang isang play. By watching the play, they will be entertained and realize that if the theater provides a lesson and message to the audience, because for me, theater is not just about entertainment. It is also a way of acquiring learnings and messages. So next one po, sir. So, choreography. The next element of the theater is the choreography. This includes the dances or fights to appear throughout the history if they do. The choreography is based on the musical words, also called musical to drive. The movement and dances of the actors must be in accordance with the music and history. So dapat yung choreography, kumbaga, naaangkop din po sa scene. To sum up, choreography is the movement of the actors and actresses. It may be a dance step or action. This will add life to the performance because it develops movement that makes the play entertaining and realistic. For example, if the play consists of a scene that has a dance step, it is important to have choreography because it creates uniform movement. Next po, sir. So the last element of theater is the voice in over, also called voiceover. It's the background voice that explain what's happening on stage. Although you don't have to explain all the scene or provides extra information, the voice is from a person that the public cannot see, although in fact it's usually voice recording. Sometimes they are in a dialogue between characters in a scripted play, but they are often referred to as off-camera or off-stage commentary or narration po. So that's the end of my discussion. I hope that you learned something for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sir Arvin and Ma'am Wency. Okay, maraming salamat po. Well said. That is all about the elements of theater arts. Okay, so let's proceed na po sa next discussants natin. Okay, and we have the types of theater. Okay, the stages. Okay, so let me call our next discussant. We have, sino po dito?
Ako po, Sir Valerie.
Okay, Ma'am Valerie Sigobiense, it's your turn.
Hello, good day everyone. So for today, I will be discussing the first 5 types of theater stages. So theater stages. In theater and performing arts, the stage, or sometimes referred to as the deck in stagecraft, is a designated space for the performance of productions. The stage serves as a space for actors or performers, and a focal point, the screen in cinema theaters, for the audience. So first, we have sound stage. A sound stage is one of the simplest stages available. They are non-theatrical areas that are converted into theater spaces. These stages typically place audiences on risers facing the stage. They do not require staging such as props, lighting, or other theatrical elements. So a found stage is one of the simplest stages available. It is also referred to as a found space or profile theater. Found stages are non-theatrical areas that are converted into theater spaces. A found stage can also refer to a building that has been altered from its original purpose to support ongoing theater production. Many of the New York City's off-Broadway theaters operates in buildings that were originally warehouses or churches. So based on the definition of found stage, it is a place that is not really intended to be a performing stage. So these are the advantages of found stage. The audience is part of the action. It is very intimate. It is different spaces can be used, so the audience is moving instead of the set. You can use the outdoors, castles of the very picturesque settings for your performance. The audience can experience different things in each part of the performance. So just what I have said a while ago, a found stage is an open space or stage, so the actors or the performers can interact well with the audience. Imagine a birthday party with a clown. They can be close to the audience to execute their acts well, and also they can ask for the participation of the audience. It can also be a stage or place where the audience can enhance their imagination skills. For example, storytelling held in open space like garden. By the environment they have or they are in, the audience can create a senses for the environment themselves.
Okay.
So another advantages of found stage, the beauty of found stage is that one can effectively create a theater in any context. These stages typically place audiences on risers facing the stage. They do not require staging such as props, lighting, or other theatrical elements. So let's come now to the disadvantages of found stage. The actors need to get themselves from one place to another quickly. In some other cases, there may be interruptions such as noise or other people. There are health and safety implications. The audience has to be mobile. It can be a long time for them to stand. So, since the audience is part of the action, they are very intimate with the actors and performers. The actors need to use the whole space to execute well their exhibitions or performances. The actors need to expect interruptions while performing in found stage. It can be a long time for the actors to stand. So next type of theater stages, we have proscenium stage. Of all the different types of theater stages, the proscenium stage is perhaps the most readily recognizable. One of the traditional features of a proscenium stage is the proscenium arc. It is an architectural frame around the stage that doesn't necessarily need to be in an arc shape. They can accommodate a number of performance arts that require minimal or extensive space for sets and lighting. So, proscenium stage are usually deep from front to back. The back of the stage may be raked so the stage slightly inclines as it moves away from the audience. The front of the stage may also extend beyond the proscenium frame into the audience, creating what's known as an apron of forestage.
Yeah.
Proscenium arc allows everyone to see the show from one direction rather than multiple angles, which may mean you have to move. Examples include the Prince of Wales Theatre in the United Kingdom and the Theatre Royal Haymarket in the Haymarket, London. So, these are the advantages of proscenium stage. Audiences are comfortable as this is the most familiar staging. The sense of us and them create realism. Realistic sets are easy to create. The fourth wall is removed, the illusion of reality is created. The blocking is easier with entrances and exits. The technical effects are easier to achieve. The most types and scales of performance can be successful. So proscenium stage can accommodate large houses. It creates a distinct world of the play. It can use lots of scenery. It is easier to light and more realism possible. Next, the disadvantages of proscenium stage. Difficult for an audience to become heavily involved. Realism can be hard to create as they have the fourth wall. The blocking needs to ensure it isn't too linear in performance and no one has their back to the audience. The furniture needs to be placed with the audience in mind, the good plot and spike during tech rehearsals. Sightlines. Blocking needs to be natural but ensures that the audience can see all that is going on. An example is the family dinner table. So, in the proscenium stage, the audience can feel removed and it becomes necessary to cheat things out. The audience may feel distant because of the form or shape of the stage. When the audience feels distant, it becomes imperative to cheat things out because of the stage design or form. The audience may feel distant. Next, we have end stage. An end stage theater, which can also be referred to as an end-on-stage theater, is a type of setup in which the audience sits opposite the stage. The audience is faced in a single direction and is usually rectangular or square in shape. A proscenium arc theater can feature an end stage, but that doesn't mean all end stages are within proscenium theaters. So the end stage theaters are those that have an audience on only one side. Such stages are most often rectangular or square, but they can be triangular, in which case they are called corner stage, or take a variety of irregular spaces. So, the advantages of end stage. The audience is close to the stage, and there is an extended first row. The actors enter and exit through the audience, which can make the audience feel more engaged. So, the audience is close to the stage and there is an extended first row. The actors enter and exit through the audience, which can make the audience feel more engaged. The disadvantages of end stage. Designers cannot use backdrops as well as it would obscure the view of the audience. Next, we have thrust stage. The end stage and the thrust stage are very similar. Both are typically square or rectangular but could be of varying shapes. While the end stage has the audience only on one side of the stage, the thrust stage features audience members on three sides of the stage. This is because the stage thrusts out past the proscenium into the audience. In theater, a thrust stage, also known as a platform stage or open stage, is one of the extents into the audience on three sides and is connected to the backstage area by its upstage area. So this is an example, the Globe Theatre London in England. The Globe Theatre in London, England. William Shakespeare's plays, for example, were written for this type of stage setup, where social and economic divisions started in theater. Galleries were where wealthy people sat showing their high status. So if you are seated at the highest seat, you are considered wealthy, and it shows that you are living a high status of living.
Ganun pala yun, no? May leveling yung ano yan. Yung ano yan, yung lifestyle ng ano yan, ng tao. Grabe.
Nakadepende seat.
Oo. Ba talaga eh. Kaya dapat talaga ano yan. Oo, bahala na kayo kung saan nyo gustong manood. As ang importante sa akin, nakikita ko pa naman yung characters. Yan lang naman yun ngayon eh. Anyway, ngayon amplified na eh. Ang reason kasi kung bakit limited lang yung tao during those times sa isang theater ang stage, because wala pong amplification. Ibig sabihin, talagang natural na boses yung maririnig nyo sa artist. Ngayon, iba na, meron ng microphones, may amplification. So kahit malayo ka, kasi meron na ring screen, baka meron ding yung projected screen sa likod, kahit hindi ka na lumapit, 'di ba? Doon ka na lang sa economic economic seat, 'di ba? Yun lang yung kaya mo, for example. Okay? So let's proceed, ma'am.
So we have the advantages of trust stage. Advantages great for large-scale productions. The Globe Theatre is more intimate as actors are closer to the audience and surrounded by them. The large items of the set are able to be used upstage without interfering with sightlines. Most plays work well in this staging. The props or furniture cause sightline problems. Blocking needs to be precise. Spiking is essential during the take. Props plot is also essential. So a thrust has the advantage of greater intimacy between audience and performer than a proscenium stage. Can still have an intimacy with the audience, but with the backstage area. The disadvantage of thrust stage. The actors have to relate to three sides to get interaction. The lighting plot needs to be more complex.
Yes.
The entrances or exits or wings need to be thought out because of sightlines. The stage floor is a vital part of the set design because of the audience sitting. Scene changes have to be done in front of the audience. So, sightlines can be an issue that is not good for the outcome of the performance. When we say sightlines, it is a series of lines drawn or planned in section to indicate the limits of the audience vision from extreme seats, including side seats and front and back row. Next, we have arena theater. The arena stage features audiences on all four sides. These types of stages are used when no background is required and when the audience needs to engage with the performance from all sides. Although the arena theater can accommodate theatrical performance, this theater type is better suited for other types of events such as concerts. So, in arena stage, where the audience totally surrounds the stage, arena is also known as theater in the round staging. Arenas are ancient, of course, but drama in the round performed for an audience surrounding the stage is largely a 20th century American development. An arena stage is characterized by a central stage surrounded by audiences on all sides.
Yan. Ito na yung development kasi, madami na yung tao, madaming gustong manood. So, accommodate, large number of groups. Kinakailangan yung admission center ninyo or yung mismong lugar, malaki. Kaya meron tayo ngayon dito sa Pilipinas tinatawag na Philippine Arena, one of the largest Southeast Asian theater or arena dito sa Pilipinas, di ba? Parang ganun yung style. Sa atin naman, may local niya naman yan sa atin, gymnasium. Multi-purpose gymnasium, di ba? Paikot na rin. Pero normally, pag sinabi kasi nating arena, yung complex talaga niya paikot. Paikot yan. Di ba? Yun yung concept ng arena. Kasi ang arena is dalawang Greek theater na pinagkabit ninyo. Kasi Greek theater is, art lang yun eh. So, pag pinagkabit mo yung dalawa, nakikinang arena. Normally, yung mga panahon tawag natin dyan is Colosseum. Pero ngayon, arena na yung pinakamaganda. Kasi yung arena, kahit anong uri ng show, pwede mong ilagay. Okay? Kasi ang pinaka-purpose talaga ng arena is to accommodate large number of spectators or viewers. Okay? Let's proceed po.
Next, we have the advantages of a arena theater. Very intimate or closer to the action than with a proscenium stage. It can see other audience members across the stage. It lends itself to varied kinds of plays. So the connection is very intimate and the closeness to the action than with the proscenium stage. It can see other audience members across the stage. Also, the audience can feel that they are included or they are part of the play or the performance. This stage creates an intimate atmosphere. Next, we have the disadvantages of arena theater. First, it can't use very realistic scenery. Someone's back is always facing the audience. It can't use traditional stage areas. So similar to the back rows of the thrust stage, sight lines may be a difficulty in the area stage, necessitating a lot of movement around the stage. So that's the end of my discussion. My partner Maria Andrea Henyo will discuss the other remaining types of theater stages. Thank you.
Alright, thank you very much, Ma'am Valerie Sigabiense. Okay, let's proceed po on the number 6. Okay.
So good morning, everyone. This is Maria Andrea Neverio Henyo, the partner of Miss Sigobiense, who discussed the first 5 theater stages, and I will continue about the remaining 5. So let's continue with the 6th type, which is the theaters in the round. So we can define a theater in the round in a similar way. It is a stage configuration in which an audience surrounds the performance area on all 4 sides. Like an arena theater that isn't located in an arena, theaters in the round do not need to be round. So theaters in the round cater to a much smaller audience compared to an arena theater. So many people tend to refer to an arena theater and a theater in the round as the same type of stage. However, they do have distinctions that set them apart. We've defined arena stages as those that are surrounded on all sides by an audience. So next slide po. So the audience surrounds the stage. It doesn't necessarily need to be round, but the audience needs to be all the way around the performing area to be in the round. The stage is at floor level with the raked audience all the way around, which is similar to the amphitheater but all 4 sides, not semicircular. Few theaters with main houses that are designed for in-the-round performances, but some can adapt.
Ayan. Kamusta si Ma'am? Yan sinasabi ko eh. Na medyo nawala yung signal ni Ma'am. Okay. Sige, pagpatuloy na lang natin. Habang di pa nakakabalik si Ma'am. Si Ma'am Wensi ulit mag-take over. Okay lang kayo, Ma'am? Medyo nawala kasi si ano yan. Si Andrea. Ikaw na muna, Ma'am Valerie. Okay?
Wait lang po, sir. May copy.
Okay, dito na tayo sa flexible theater.
Opo, wait lang po.
Ayan, hintayin natin siya makabalik. Baka makabalik ulit. Ayan, sige. Okay, so may tanong ako habang inaayos natin yung signal ng ating discussion. Sino sa inyo nakapunta na ng tawag ba dito? Albay Astrodome. Ayan. Considered as theater din yun, no? Okay, yun nga lang kasi dito sa Pilipinas, pag gumawa ng mga ganyan, multi-purpose. Pang theater, pang evacuation, pang conference, pang seminar, lahat, name it all. So yan ang ano yan, maganda sa Philippines. Pag gumawa ng isang construction building, ng isang infrastructure, dapat pwedeng gamitin sa lahat. Very economical kasi dito sa Philippines. Unlike the other countries, that this particular ano yan, buildings are actually exclusively for a particular show. Yeah, yun ang kaganda. Pag theater, teatro lang. 'Di ba? 'Yun ang kagandahan sa kanila. Sa atin, yan ang problema pag third world, 'di ba? Pagkakasyahin lahat, yung kahit hindi pwede, pwede na rin natin 'yan eh. Yan. So, nakabalik na ba ang ating discussion? Asa na si Ma'am? Ayan. So, isa-isa na po silang nakakabalik. Asan na si ma'am? Okay na ba? Diretso na natin? Oh. Asan na si... Okay na?
Po, sir. I'm
Okay,
sorry
sige.
po. Ano,
Okay lang yan. Sige na, ma'am. Proceed ulit tayo.
So, the audience surrounds necessarily need to be round, but the audience needs to be all the way around the performing area to be in the round. The stage is at floor level with the raked audience all the way around. Similar to the amphitheater, but for lines not semi-circular. Few theaters with main houses that are designed for in-the-round performances, but some can adapt. Most studio theaters are designed to be able to adapt to an in-the-round performance. So in some ways, theaters in the round are similar to flexible theater performances as they seek to engage the audience in a more intimate way than a typical performance on a proscenium stage. So theaters in the round use limited props and scenery to avoid blocking the audience's view. So next slide po. So these are the advantages of the in the round theater. So number 1, audience-actor bond is strong and intimate because the actors are close to the audience. So number 1, the audience and actor will have a more intimate interaction with one another, and it will promote more of the effectivity of the performance that they are portraying. Number 2, it is impossible to have a realistic set in the round. It enhances imagination watching. Audience has to create a sense of the environment themselves. So this has become an advantage because it will not require them of the props and many other decorations unlike other theater stages. It will give them the audience freedom to imagine what they are watching and create the scenes within their head. So number 3, naturalistic performance, as you'll have your back to someone at some stage. Scene changes can happen as part of the performance by cast or stage management in costumes. So next slide po. So these are the disadvantages of the in-the-round theater. So number 1, unless you can raise the audience, you will struggle with sightline problems. So one of the disadvantages of having an theater is the sightline problem. At the back, cannot properly see the overall performance unless they make the chairs elevated so that those audience at the back can still see the performance. Number 2, realism must be used with this set. So realism is the use of decorations, costumes, language, subject matters like poverty, social ills, relationships, and many more has to be true reflections of contemporary life. So it is really difficult to reach the level of realism and the depth of stage, and it can and many other possible stages that can cater this type of performance. Number 3, harder restrictions for designers of set, lighting, and sound. Restrictions on placing furniture and focus of light. So it will be difficult for the theatrical group to decorate since they are surrounded by the audience on all 4 sides. So number 4, actors can be subtle, having an audience all the way around. So the actors has to perform as accurate as they can because they were being watched on every side. And if not, the audience can see the slightest error they make, and that can also result to the fifth that even professional actors and actresses can feel nervousness, and that can cost them the subtle performance, affecting the totality of the play itself. So next slide po. Although many spaces and theaters are designed to feature lighting, props, and other elements used in the performance, there are other stages that cater to a minimalist style of performance. One of these is the flexible theater. It is also known as a studio theater or a block box theater. The flexible theater is designed to accommodate a wide range of needs. Unlike other types of stages and theaters, flexible theaters aren't fixed. So the flexible theater allows the team to design both the stage and audience set specific desires. So within minutes, the stage and seating configurations can be set up, rearranged, or taken down.
Ito yung mga tinatawag nating studio type theaters. Ito yung ginagamit sa ano yan, sa mga TV shows. Okay? So, sayang di tayo nakakapag-tour. Punta tayo sana sa ABS. Kung bukas. Dati na bukas sa ABS, pumunta kami doon. Ganyan po ang flexible theater. So, ina-accommodate lang niya mga 100 to 200 na tao. Pero dahil sa camera, feeling mo ang lawak-lawak nung nung studio. Kaya kung ikaw ay medyo katabaan, pag pumasok ka sa flexible theater at nakuha ka ng camera, lalo ka pa pong mag-widen up, lalo kang tataba. Kaya wag kayong magtaka kung lahat ng artista, pag nakita nyo sa personal, ang papayat. Kasi ganyan po talaga yung nangyayari pag kayo po bin-broadcast. Nag-i-expand yung mga katawan ninyo. Okay, so yun yung purpose ng flexible theater. Kung madali ang show, yan yung gagamitin natin. Okay? Let's proceed, ma'am.
So this type of theater stage is not fixed. Thus, it gives the freedom for the creative team of the theater group to design the stage or even the setup in line with their liking within just minutes. These spaces are referred to as block box theaters. As you can see in the picture, it is painted with all black because the walls of the room are typically painted with black, just like what you see in the PowerPoint. So next slide, the advantages of a flexible theater. Number 1, it allows creative freedom. As I have said, it allowed the creative team to really let out their creativity in designing the stage and the audience set according to their desired design. Number 2, it uses the environment that already exists in a room or space. Since the theater stage is not yet fixed, they can maximize the environment and use it for their theater performance. Number 3, sometimes audiences can be in the performance stage. So as what is stated a while ago, the performance and can really the performance clearly. So similar with the fourth advantage, sometimes performers are within the audience space. So they can interact with the audience and can even use the aisles when they are doing their dialogues. So number 5, use available space modified or not. So next po are the advantages of flexible theater. Number 1, generally will not accommodate a large house. So it's built inside a studio. Sir, hindi siya naka-accommodate ng marami sa arena.
Yep.
Next we have, it may be frustrating if too many options. Number 3, it must be lit from the above. So since it is painted with black, it needs additional lighting since the light may not reflect on the faces of the performers.
Yes po. Totoo yan.
So last, after
Sa studio sa sa GMA, sa ABS-CBN, kung makikita nyo, may mga trusses dyan sa taas. Yung mga bakal yan na inilalagay yung napakadaming ilaw, daming spotlight, magsimula sa spotlight, floodlight, name it, kung ano-ano uri ng mga ilaw, para ma-project ng maayos yung show. Diba? Minsan pa nga meron pag sa ilalim ilaw yung sa ilalim ng kung nakita nyo yung yung show ng Wawawin, yan kay Kuya Will, diba? Normally kasi ngayon, para ma-minimize yung mga napakadaming ilaw, anong ginagawa? Nagpapalit sila ng LED screen, yung LED screen. Yan yung uso ngayon. 'Di ba yung nagbubukas-bukas? LED screen yun. Mas matipid na siya sa ilaw. Okay? Tapos, mas computer generated pa siya. Unlike dun sa mga analog na mga lightings na ginagawa dati pa. Okay? Sa mga old studio productions. Okay? Let's proceed, ma'am.
So the last disadvantage is that actors could feel intimidated since the audience can see everything, even during live.
Totoo yan. Alam niyo yun nangyayari. Pag nagbi-break ba, nagko-commercial sa mga TV shows. Anong nangyayari din pagkatapos ng sabi nung director, in 3, 2, 1, break, commercial break. Mapapatay yung mga ilaw, yung mga actors, parang mga parang classroom setup lang, may barag-barag yan sa stage. Kung saan-saan pupunta yung mga actor-actress. Tapos may papasok na na tawag ba dito, mag-ice break kung sino man. Para hindi maboring yung audience. Tapos ang problema doon, pag dapat within that particular time nag-break, kung iihi ka, kung pupunta ka sa CR, bilisan mo. Dahil pag nag-start na naman yung show, hindi ka papapasukin doon sa sa upuan mo. Ganun po ka lupet pagdating sa broadcasting. Ganun kaigpit because of the time. Ayan. So, yun yung problema sa sa flexible theater. Dapat sumunod ka. Dahil kung hindi, mawawalan ka ng upuan. Okay ba? Alright? Okay, Okay, ma'am, let's proceed po.
Yes po. So next slide po, we have the platform stages. So a platform stage is simply a raised platform located at the end of a room facing an audience. So you can usually tell the difference between a platform stage and another type of stage due to its location. So platform stages are traditionally located in areas that are not primarily used as theaters. So this could include multi-purpose spaces in event halls, churches, colleges, and many more. So platform stages can be referred to as open stages, especially if they don't have curtains, backstage areas, or other hallmarks of the traditional theatrical stage. One benefit of platform stage is they usually don't need to follow the same international building codes and fire codes that a theatrical stage with curtains and lighting would. So they don't really need to have certification or any ocular inspections of the
Wala.
venue since they do not need much of the
Yeah.
technical materials of a typical stage.
Permit lang kailangan nyo permit to operate. Yun lang yun. Kasi tatanggalin lang naman ninyo yun after ng show. Diba? Yun already pag mga concert, yan ang ginagamit eh. Okay?
We one is multi-purpose halls where theater is one of the places used. Number two, the audience interaction, which promote a feeling of intimacy and involvement. Number three, entrances and exits can be in the audience. So that's the stage in a and then first with the or so number four, the audience can be used as part of the number five, prop and set will have to be used creatively as no backdrops can be used. So let's now disadvantage of platform stages. So it is hard to assemble and disassemble. So since the platform stages are made up of large metal bars and steel rods that are assembled, this would mean that it would be carried,
Yes.
so it needs a lot of manpower when it's being disassembled.
Totoo yan. Kasi part kami ng, ng stage production. Alam nyo ba, mas madami yung kinakailangang oras para mag-prepare kaysa sa show. Example, isang buong araw kami magsa-set up. Ang show nyo 30 minutes. Tapos mag disassemble na naman kayo. Nako po, ganun po kahirap maging production guy. Kasi mas madami yung time para mag-prepare kaysa sa time ng show. So, pero kung maganda naman yung performance, fulfilling naman siya. Okay?
Yes po. So, very time consuming. So, another one is can have vulnerable and can or so this can be seen on those stages that are promptly. So yung inspection cannot be done properly, that will result a possible danger for the performance.
Yan.
So next, we have the hippodrome. The hippodrome. The hippodrome dates back to ancient Greece and was an outdoor arena used for chariot races and horse races. Racers would run around an oval track which was surrounded by spectators on tiered seating. The track and audience were typically separated by seats or screen. The Romans used a similar outdoor theaters that they called a circus. So next slide. The name is derived from the Greek words hippos, which mean horse, and dromos, which mean course. The term is used in modern French language and some others with the meaning of horse, race course. Hippodrome theaters were quite unique in their construction because they were typically dug into the side of a hill. So as you can see in the example,
Okay.
that was when they checked the opposite end was squared off. So imagine the dome that it is a oblong shape, but then the other side is squared off. Yung parang may kanto yung isang side. So there are many hippodromes preserved through cities. of any event. The advantage of joke. So, certain type of theater stages that we have today, spectators. So, so next, we have the disadvantages of hippodrome. It is subject to weather problems. So, open siya and outdoor open sa mga different weather problems. Pwedeng initan yung spectators, pwedeng maulanan, or pwedeng maka-experience ng windy weather. So last, we have open-air theaters, or what we know as amphitheater. So an open-air theater is an event space that hosts performances in an open-air setting, meaning the venue is open to the sky. These theaters are commonly known as amphitheaters, can include multiple forms of stages such as theaters in the round. In many examples, an awning covers part of the stage or audience to protect them from wind, rain, and sunlight. So the largest open-air theater in the world is Regent's Park Open Air Theater in London, England. So open-air theater or amphitheater is a theater stage that is open to the sky, meaning it is usually held outdoors, like what we see here in the pictures. It seems like it is in the forest. This means that it will also be open for different kinds of weather, sunny, rainy, or windy, that may affect the actor's performance and the viewing experience of the audience. So this is also similar to a hippodrome. So open-air theaters come in many shapes and sizes, but must be located outdoors. So one rule of a open-air theater is that it must be built outdoors. So they can include small platforms or flexible stages, more permanent proscenium stages, or just located in a local park, playground, or other event space. Lighting and other elements can be integrated into the stage and operate with natural light to offer a unique experience for theater goers. The largest open-air theater in the world is Regent's Park Open Air Theater in London, England. So the advantages of an open-air theater: number one, the distance between actor-actress and number two, the actor-actress could have more interactions with the audience. Number three, opportunity to have options of audience participation. Number four, costumes and light support become less important. So since it is held in outside or outdoors, the lighting should not be a problem, since the natural light coming from the sun is providing them the light that they need.
Kung umaga.
So next,
Kung umaga
Yes.
yung show. Eh normally ngayon, sa set namin, pag-research namin sa sa production level, it is more preferably to perform any kind of show during night. For that purpose kasi, yung level po ng temperature tapos yung humidity is sumasang-ayon na po sa mga production management. Oo, normally yan nangyayari. Kasi pag sobrang init, unang-una, wala dyan tatagal. Pilipinas ka gumawa ng hippodrome, open air, ganitong oras, alas 12. Sino yung tatagal dyan? Wala. So normally talaga gabi. Yan ang pinaka the best. Lalo din sa mga tropical countries. We usually do the production around 7 p.m. to 12 p.m. The best yan na show. Yan. Kaya wala bira kayo makakita ng concert na umaga. Puro yan talaga gabi. Alright? Sige.
So next, contemporary issues become important to the audience. So typically, one of the issues they tackle in the performance in open air theaters are about so sometimes the topics being discussed in every play done in an amphitheater issues, and this gives them to these issues and have deeper understanding of the problems of society. And just like Mr. Repa have discussed ago, it's not all about entertainment, but they are also about how everyone should be knowledgeable of societal issues around us.
Okay.
So next, the reflection process are easily understood by those of the sometimes various opinions may have been collected about each performance as part of the reflections of the audiences. Since some of the topics this performance are subject to societal issues, they can gather different reflections or insights regarding the play that they have watched. So next, open-air theater is cost-effective. So, ang open-air theater daw is parang mas makakatipid ka since held siya outdoor, hindi mo na kailangan ng maraming technical materials for you to conduct a theater or play. Next, it gives experiments Now go to the disadvantages of open theater. Number 1, weather. Subject kinds of changes. Pwedeng maulanan ka or pwedeng maarawan. So, nakadepende din talaga kung saan mo i-conduct yung theater play mo using the amphitheater or open air theater. Number 2, sometimes at the back edge of the audience may not hear the full sound of the dialogue of the performance. So unless you can make the seating of the audiences tiered or yung pataas siya, mas bibigyan mo sila ng opportunity na makita ng maayos at marinig ng performance. Next, may have problem performance. First, audience may be satisfied with performance. Number 5, sometimes actor actress may feel uncomfortable at the open air theater. Last, sometimes people may get a negative impression with the performance. So next slide, we have the 2 remaining disadvantages of open air theaters. We have the actor has to be strong enough to keep the audience to their performance. So since malayo yung ibang audience sa performance itself or dun sa mismong stage, the actors must make must effectively make the audiences keep attention to their performance. Last, the actor has to give focus to all levels of the audience. So that ends our presentation about the 10 theater stages, and we hope that you learned something from our discussion. So thank you all for lending your time. Up next are Miss Guerra and Miss Nepomuceno, who will discuss about the theatrical stage.
Right, thank you very much, Ma'am Andrea. Okay? Buti nakahabol yung signal. We try to compensate, okay? Sorry for the inconvenience. Technical lang po talaga mga ka-ed, okay? But anyway, okay, let's proceed po. Okay?
Okay. So now that you gain knowledge about the types of theater stages, let's get to know and learn about the theatrical styles. So next slide, please. So the first theatrical style is what we call musical. So musical theater refers to theatrical presentations accompanied by music. So of course, from the name itself, musical, there should be a music accompaniment. This kind of theater includes singing and dancing performances with dialogues or solo songs thrown into the mix at times. So just by reading this description, we can already visualize or imagine what's going on in a musical theater, right? Imagine how lively it is when there's, singing and dancing. I think it is fun to watch musical theaters. So,
yeah.
So the lyrics to most songs are in English. So the song, the language they are using in their songs are mostly in English language. However, of course, there are some exceptions where other languages may be used. So, examples of musical theaters are Wicked, Phantom of the Opera, Chicago, Rent and Hairspray, and other popular musics are by West End theaters such as Miss Saigon and Les Miserables. And I know you are all familiar about these two popular musics because this is really popular in our country.
Okay.
So the next please. So the next theatrical style that we have is what we call epic or historical theater. So what is historical theater? Epic theater is an umbrella term for theatrical styles characterized by drama to convey historical events and social ideas through continuity of plot and theme. So the performance in a historical theater are much into dramas, and the performances are about historical events or something to do with the past and social ideas. These plays generally occur at a particular time and may be adapted from other literary works. So pag nanood kayo ng mga theatrical theater, pwedeng yung mga performances is mga adaptation yun ng pwedeng mga alam nyong literary works.
Mm-hmm.
So the characters in such performances are mainly fictional, but the events they depict might have happened.
Yep.
So the examples of this kind of theater include Antigone by Sophocles, Pygmalion by George Bernard, Shaw Angels in America by Tony Kushner, Le Duc de la Comtesse d'Olingen de Gratz by Bernard Marie Colpez. So next please. Our third theatrical style is what we call melodrama. Melodramas are plays that exaggerately convey emotions. So melodrama is a subgenre of drama which is an exaggerated form of this genre. This kind of theater aims at evoking strong feelings from its audience using plot devices such as violence, death, and passionate love scenes. So melodramas deal with sensational and romantic topics that appeal to the emotions of the common audience. Now, the acting style in melodrama is an extremely over-dramatic style of acting. This is distinguished by emphasized displays of emotion and gestures mixed with a variety of stereotypical characters. Emotions and gestures in melodrama are generally quite simple and absolutely over the top. So what are examples of melodramas? So it includes La Dame aux Camellias by Alexandra Dumas and the plays of Victor Hugo such as The Hernani and The Place Borgia. So, moreover, the fourth theatrical style that we have is what we call realism. So, realistic theater refers to a mostly true-to-life drama in terms of setting, characters, and events. Traditional realism features a sparse set design where much of the action takes place in a single room and character wear costumes that resemble their everyday clothing. So the characters in a realistic theater is believable, or it is the everyday types, and the costumes that they use are authentic, and the stage settings or the locations and props are often indoors and believable. And the dialogue they use in realistic theater is not heightened for effect, but that of everyday speech, or what we call vernacular. So it explores the themes and conflicts that an average person could face in real life. So what are the conflicts and or problems an average person could or facing in real life? And that is the theme of the performance. And did you know, guys, that realistic drama quickly gained popularity? So the reason is that the everyday person in the audience could identify with the situations and characters on stage. So of course, when your audience can relate to your performance can have a strong impact to your audience. So,
Yan. Cardo Dalisay, nanonood ka, ma'am?
yeah. Bang, bang.
Sige.
So, for instance, one play might focus on family relationships among different generations. So family relationship is an example of real-to-life situations, right? So, playwrights such as A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen, The Seagull by Anton Chekhov, and that of the Salesman of Arthur Miller. So, So for my fifth theatrical style is what we call surrealism. The surrealist theater is inspired by dreams, fantasies, free associations, visual art pieces, and many more. With surrealist drama, actors are not limited to realistic characters or movements. Themes in this kind of theater often explore the subconscious mind and involve political messages. So actors in surrealism drama are not constrained by realistic characters or actions. Themes in this type of theater frequently deal with the subconscious mind as stated and political implications. In surrealist theater, they have confusing storylines and dreamlike sequences. So what are samples of surrealist plays? It includes Toy by Anton Artaud, Les Perdants Magnificas by René de Obaldia. I'm not really quite sure how to pronounce this correctly, but Les Song Dionnet by William Shakespeare.
Okay.
And the last surrealist place is Victor o Les Enfants or Favor by Victor Hugo. So, moreover, to discuss the remaining theatrical styles, we have Kelly Nepomuceno. So, Miss Kelly, please take it away.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. Let's proceed.
So
Ayan, good morning everyone. My name is Kelly Nepomuceno and I will discuss the remaining theatrical styles. So let us begin with comedies. What is comedies? Comedies are humorous plays that aim to entertain the audience rather than convey serious social or psychological ideas. So from the word itself, comedies, we can already formulate ideas that this revolves around the theme of pulling something entertaining by means of being funny. Since it is the primary way of the comedy plays to appeal to the interest of the audience. Then the next one is characters in comedies have mostly light-hearted personalities and usually crack jokes to cope with everyday lives. So as mentioned, it enables the audience laugh by its light-hearted ambience, but it doesn't end there. Hindi lang siya puro patawa because the plot can also tackle themes about love and relationships. And ang kinaibahan lang niya is the plot twist na ini-impart niya sa audience. Kumbaga, since given a comedy play siya, mas ina-highlight niya yung moments na makakapag-lighten ng mood nung play. Then, example of this one are Moliere's Le Bourgeois Gentilhomme and George Feydeau's La Dame Duchesse Maxime and William Congreve's The Way of the World. Next slide po, sir. The next one is tragedies. Tragedies are plays written to inspire negative emotions such as fear and pity. The tragedies display disturbing feelings such as sadness, anger, despair, and etc. So kung pinatawa ka sa comedies, dito naman prepare a tissue because at some point, tragedy aims to pinch the heart of the audience. So meron talaga dyan part na mapapaiyak ka. And I believe that this doesn't only apply on theatrical plays because even pag nagbasa ka ng mga stories, kapag talaga ganito yung theme, iiyak ka talaga. Then, the most common theme in this kind of theater is death or loss. So parang given na tong characteristic na to sa tragedy kasi lalo pag yung character, siya yung gustong-gusto mo na madaming nabigay na contribution dun sa play, then at the end mamamatay lang pala siya. So parang ganun po. And
normal lang yan sa tragedy. Namamatay talaga yung bida. Okay.
Of course, tragic moments presented in the tackles the reality of life. That's why makaka-relate tayo dun sa play. Then next slide po, sir. Then the next theatrical style is pantomime. Pantomime is a dramatic performance without words or a written script. To convey ideas, actors mix facial expressions and gestures to express characters' thoughts and feelings. Personally, I can say that executing pantomime is a complex job for those actors and actresses because kahit kami nung nasa junior high pa lang, naging project namin mag-perform kami ng mini lang naman siya, sa room lang naman pinag-perform. And the theatrical style na nabunot namin is pantomime. So, the first impression ko nun, sabi ko, I feel pressured kasi mahirap na nga na mag-perform sa maraming tao with the dialogue. What more kung wala pang dialogue? So, yun yung challenge ng pantomime. So, how are you going to make the audience understand you without any words? So, just by mere facial expressions and body language po. This kind of theater requires great physical skill from its actors because they must communicate through physical contact to convey certain emotions. So that is why body language is very important in pantomimes. Next po, sir. Then the next one is the vaudeville. Vaudeville derived from the old French term of satirical song vaudeville, which is a reference to Var Valley of France, where the song is originated. It is a theatrical genre that combines elements of both comedy and drama. It is a light entertainment, and although similar siya sa comedy, it contains serious plot themes, and vaudeville is usually ginagamit siya para to serve as an outlet for the audience na maging aware sa mga social situations na present sa society. Vaudeville often uses satire and parody to address social issues like politics or marriage. Variety of entertainment under vaudeville acts includes music, dance, acrobatics, etc., and different genres. Example of this one are Victor Hugo's Hernani, George Bernard Shaw Pygmalion, and Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest. So, and to end this discussion po, I want you to remember that the world of theater includes variety of genres performed in different countries. Theatrical styles are related to specific cultural beliefs, social norms, and political contexts. However, all kinds of theater have one thing in common, and that is to make the audience feel something through their performances. That's all. Thank you.
Alright, thank you very much sa ating first set of discussant. Ladies and gentlemen, ayan. So, natapos na natin yung una nating PPP. So, meron pa tayong isa, ladies and gentlemen. So, huwag kayong aalis. We're going to have a short break. Ladies and gentlemen, time check is already 11:24. Huwag kayong aalis. And we'll be right back.